Now, what episode is this? Do we have to announce the episode?
My hands are clammy.
So this is episode 8 of the Tony's Talks podcast. I'm Jeremy, joined as always by who?
Uncle T. Yo,
How you doing?
I appreciate the cinematic effect there. We have most of the squad here today. Jeremy, John, Jenna, Darian, and Peter. Uncle, of course.
Yeah.
Front and center.
Special guest.
Logan blew me off for a birthday party. Have fun, Logan.
We actually do have a special guest right now who's in the background. Maybe I'll go and get her. Try to get her over here. She'll understand what that means.
Somebody go get her.
Yeah, she's a little camera shy
She's
sometimes.
taking, her.
Why, is she a Kardashian? No, just kidding.
I don't think the Kardashians are. Well, actually.
Maybe in the bedroom they can.
Whoa.
Look at her.
Hey, little Pepper,
Oh.
come here. Okay.
No, she's not having it.
It was a quick guest appearance.
Okay, he's just little
Oh, baby.
Pepper.
She's like, why are you
Pepper.
pimping me out for
I'm a
like?
pepper, you're a pepper.
Announce her full name.
Peppercorn Simus Leet.
My daughter.
So
Peppercorn.
Darian got a
Pepperoni.
kitten, and we brought her over to
Peppercorny.
Uncle's for the recording. Uncle has kitten fever, isn't that right, Uncle?
Yes. Come in July, I will be adopting a rescue kitten.
Close to your mouth with
Okay.
that again.
Come July, I'm on
I'm a
3
kitty
weeks
cat.
vacation.
And
I'm
I
going
dance,
to bond
dance,
with my
dance,
cat.
dance, dance, dance.
Yeah,
Or kitten.
but I don't know if my dad actually likes that because you come over and feed our cat and walk our dog and feed our dog. So, I mean, if you get your own pet, you might be a little distracted, I think.
Oh, she
She'll have the
sees something.
turntables.
Yeah.
She's playing with something over
Yeah,
there.
we're going to try not get distracted too much because we have the football game on, Patriots and the
Hey,
Rams.
Pepper.
Yeah.
No, the
The
Bucks.
Patriots.
That's
The
terrible.
Bucks.
Patriots. Oh, my God. That was a Tom Brady
Oh,
Freudian slip. Excuse
no.
me. You're right. It was the Bucks and
Bucks.
the Rams, right? I had the right LA team. You can tell how much I watch football.
The
Anyway.
Las Vegas Rams.
Yeah, which were the Las Vegas. No, see,
Uh,
the Los Angeles Rams, and that's where the Super Bowl is being played this year, right?
yes.
We'll talk about that in a couple
SoFi
weeks when it comes up
Stadium.
probably, but yeah.
Yes, chef.
Anyway, Uncle, I like to start off all these episodes with a little story time. If you've got anything to share with us, is there anything that has been really dragging you down lately? Something that happened
There's
this
been
week?
a lot of COVID fever at work, so we've been missing a lot of people. I did a 40-hour week last week overtime. Don't tell my sister. That was unhealthy. But
She doesn't listen to
I
these
survived
anyway.
through it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess this is going to kind of I personally want to get into because I think it's a pretty hot topic right now. Obviously, a little bit of conversation on COVID, and I know this can get intense. Or
What?
we're not going to get our own personal opinions on how like COVID's being handled right now. But
Yeah.
obviously, we haven't been able to record in quite a few weeks because we haven't been able to really be around each other. It feels like during the holiday season, everyone's gotten sick. Pretty much everyone is either sick with COVID or sick with something else. So
Sick of it.
I know our last episode we had right after Christmas because it was like we talked about the swap and everything. It was between Christmas and the New Year's. We spent the New Year with Uncle, rang in 2022 with Uncle Tony. Uncle, how was New Year's for you?
It was awesome. It was the first time I've been around these many family members at once on New Year's Eve. I never go because I worked PMs before, so I couldn't.
So you're
actually-
usually working on an average New Year. How was
Eve,
that?
yes.
You just do, even at
Well,
work, they must have like a
Our
TV,
boss
right?
punished us. He wouldn't let us leave 2 hours early or at 11 o'clock. He says, you got to suffer and punch out at midnight.
So you're punching out at midnight.
Yes.
So like you're getting out of work and it's like balls dropping.
Yeah.
Happy 2022.
That's the way he is. He's still
Sad.
there. And he got promoted. He's a top banana now.
The top
The
banana.
top Chouriço, I
Wow.
can say in Portuguese.
Whoa.
Ew.
Wow.
Top shitties.
So
It's
graphic.
a big old shitty swinging competition over there.
I don't think that's what that is, but
It's a
Yeah.
big old banana swinging competition.
So anyway, if you're wondering why it's been almost a month since we last recorded, that's mostly to do with it. But and we'll try to get a Tony's Talks video out as well because we've had some people that could. Yeah,
Has been a
we've
grip.
had requests, and just Simone, who's like, I want another Tony's Talks video.
Hi,
To watch.
Simone.
I want to watch myself.
Hi.
Yeah. She couldn't be here today. Neither could Logan. They both had other engagements. But yeah,
You go, girl and guy. Have fun.
some other
Selling Girl Scout cookies.
right.
Hi,
That's actually. I guess
Sharon.
we can
let
talk.
me get a box.
We can talk that Simone is selling Girl Scout cookies, and that's why she can't be here. But you know, she usually is one of the top sellers in her troop.
Simone is a top.
I sold.
Oh, no.
I
I'm not
sold
gonna do that
almost
again.
$800
Girl Scout
last
cookie seller.
year. I sold over $700 worth of cookies last year.
Yeah, for Simone. Yeah, we should get into that. How you are like Simone's salesperson.
Well, my coworkers, they eat like $100 worth each coworker.
So you just,
Let's hear your sales pitch.
yeah. How do you sell these
Please
cookies?
buy Girl Scout cookies. One coworker said, I won't say where she's from, what's a Girl Scout cookie? I said it's a cookie that, like any other cookie, but it's called Girl Scout cookies.
All right. Well,
Okay,
so
good.
I mean, I don't think it takes much effort to actually sell Girl Scout cookies. Everyone
No.
knows what they are, and everyone's like, "Yeah, hook me up with a couple." Jenna's. Oh, right. Our resident Girl Scout, Jenna, is gonna give us
I have a
little
comment.
input. Yeah.
So I've mentioned it before that I was a Girl Scout and that
Have you? Oh, yeah. That's right. You took like a minute and a half on the last podcast to do the whole Girl Scout pledge.
Can you do it again?
Nope. Let's not do that again.
Can you recite the
I
Girl
Pretty sure
Scout
I cut
pledge?
out like half
no,
of it.
but listen. So, I just got a hair in my mouth. So,
Thank you for telling the podcast.
One
listeners.
time we were at like this super Walmart selling cookies because I guess we were like allowed to do that back in the day. I haven't seen people do that in a long time, but we were inside this super Walmart, and so we started singing a version of Call Me Maybe, like by Carly Rae Jepsen.
As you were selling cookies?
Yeah, and so we were like, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but here's some cookies, so buy them maybe. And we actually
super cringy.
I know, it was. No, it was.
No, I appreciate it, but it's like a
Thank you,
very
babe.
cringy teenage girl thing.
I
to do.
understand.
appreciate
No,
your
I wasn't a
cringe
teenager. I was
phase,
like
babe.
12.
Okay. But you were how old were you when you stopped
Oh, you were
selling
a
Girl Scout
tween.
cookies?
Did you make sales?
18.
You were 18 when you stopped selling Girl Scout cookies. No, you weren't. I didn't know you when you were selling them still.
Maybe 17.
So, I think we're going to get into a little bit of some tabloid stuff that's happened. Not tabloids necessarily, but just world news in general. Some of
Okay.
it's tabloidy a little bit. And the first thing, Uncle, you might have some opinions on this, is you've been alive longer than us. Is the death...
Alive? That's an understatement. I was born before you guys, but alive?
I've only been living the
I
last
haven't
couple
had
years.
Enough
Tony
things
Stark's.
in my life to be alive about.
Tony Stark started.
So go on.
The
Sounds
deaths
out
of
for
To
30
live
years.
doesn't mean you're alive.
Yeah, and to
In
live
the words
is,
of Nicki Minaj.
or alive is not to mean that you're living, right? Yeah.
We always get so deep. Oh, that's the cat.
Well,
Yeah, right? You could be alive and not be living.
You're right. Yes, if we want to get deep on this, we
Living
could.
your dreams.
So my point is, Betty White and Bob Saget both died recently, and I know we probably have
Bob
some opinions on
Saget.
this.
Within 10 days of each other.
Yes, Uncle Tony, how familiar were you with either of these
Or
icons?
Betty White would have been beeped today. She got away with murder back in the 70s. She would go after her boss or one of the characters and
Kind of
try
like
to make love
Uncle
to
on this
him.
podcast. Oh.
And she was a lot of sexual innuendos during those days.
So did you watch the Golden Girls?
Golden Girls, that was a ritual with your grandmother before I went to the midnight show at the showcase.
Because I feel like that's like where a lot of
On
people
a
know her
Saturday night,
from.
we'd watch it all the time.
Not what he's talking about.
What are you talking about then?
Like pre-Golden Girls.
So
She was a young
look,
Oh,
I didn't
yes.
I didn't watch that anyway.
We knew
but-
her from Mary Tyler Moore show.
Oh, okay.
And then she did on the Mama's Family, which I didn't care for that show. It was kind of campy.
So it's kind of
Yeah,
tragic.
one of
She
the
died
cousins.
like weeks before her 100th
Yeah,
birthday.
they said she had a stroke.
Didn't make it to
17
2022.
days, yeah.
So
Well, if you call the what do you call that? The 9 months in her mother's stomach.
What?
She was over 100 years old.
The
No,
gestational
but
period?
believe it or
Because
not, we
at 8 months,
don't
at
use
8
that.
months pregnant, you can have
What?
be born.
He's like, yeah, let's add those 9 months on.
Why not?
No, what do you mean? Why not? We don't measure age by that,
I know. But
and that gets into a whole other conversation
Whoa.
that we're
Yeah,
not doing
that's-
right now.
that's-
okay, sorry,
controversial.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
And
okay. So Bob
was
Saget,
pretty popular. I was like your age when the show came on. I was
the show.
a
What
young
show are you
adult.
referencing?
But a creep.
Full House.
Full House.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
What?
And he was like the Bill Cosby of the 90s.
Yes.
Bob
Bill
the
Cosby.
Bill
Precisely.
Is that what you were about to say?
But like
What do you-
before Bill Cosby was like, a convicted.
Okay.
Predator.
Bob Saget was a creep.
Was he?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Saget?
Yes.
Where did you? Cite your sources. She's like,
There
Breitbart.
are several sources. What? No, I
I
guess.
honestly didn't know this about him. if it's
I
true.
guess.
Turtle Boy.
I guess he was creepy and did creepy things or said creepy things. I don't know
I
the
heard
full
his wife,
story
Jaren's personally taking down the
to
reputation
Mary
of Bob
Kate
Saget
and
right now.
Ashley Olsen,
Really?
which would make sense.
Wait, toward them?
Yeah, and I
Who
guess
loves him?
when they like had been filming Full House and had like a baby doll, he like pretended to it.
What?
But yeah.
Oh, the reputation of Bob Saget being tarnished before my eyes.
a lot of people don't like him. Like, a lot of people think he's creepy.
Oh, well, see,
Which he is a comedian and says some dark humor things, which is fine. That's fine. But I guess he's crossed some lines.
yeah, I've never been personally victimized by Bob Saget, so I
But,
wouldn't know.
I mean, me neither. I used to like him, but then I heard
Obviously,
a bunch
Full
of
House was
weird
a
things.
banger. I don't
Yeah.
know that he wasn't my favorite character by any means on the show. I think most people were like John Stamos.
Yeah. Ooh.
Uncle Joey. Joey Gladstone was the funniest
Joey Gallstones?
person.
Joey OP.
Former Blackie Parish on the 80s version of General Hospital.
Uncle with another reference that no one from our generation is going to understand.
What?
But I appreciate
Oh, you don't
that.
watch General Hospital?
What's his name? Brad Pitt started on a soap in the 80s. Who else? Morgan Freeman. The guy that played Frasier. What's his name? Kelsey Grammer.
Andy Grammer?
Susan Lucci. And let me see, anybody else that I know?
So that was tragic, and we don't even, not to cut you off,
Okay.
because I feel like you could sit here all afternoon and name people that got their starts on soap operas, but
Bette Midler?
his death is still not confirmed, right? Like, what happened?
No, the autopsy takes like 8 to 12 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
There was no foul play,
No,
supposedly.
it wasn't COVID, they
No.
think.
I don't know if it was like drug related or something. Would that be
No.
considered
I don't
potentially
think
possible?
so.
Okay. Well,
I think it was like a heart. They were speculating like a heart attack or stroke.
so that's
or
out of
something.
control that happened because he was like in
Yeah.
his mid-60s, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Tragic.
Shady.
More tragic than Betty White, because obviously Betty White was like 99. I mean,
Yeah.
what?
It was he died overnight, like right after a show.
Right.
And
Right.
was in, because when you first see found dead in a hotel room, it's like sketchy. Yeah, it's like, oh shoot, I didn't know he was into that. But
He was at the Ritz.
Into what,
Carlton.
Jenna? Because there's a lot of things that could happen.
Shark
Drugs,
Tank.
suicide.
I'll leave it up to your own imagination. Jeez Louise.
Into the dark side.
Yeah. Well, I
Do you just
understand.
not want me to speak
No,
during
no.
these things?
I understand it. I do. I think that's probably what most people's first
I have no
opinions were.
opinions.
Well, after Betty White, we've lost like 10 famous people. We lost Meatloaf. We lost
I still don't know who that
Sidney
is.
Poitier. We lost,
Meatloaf was a singer, an artist.
well, tragically, because it was his fault. I mean, God.
Oh my
This
god.
cat's causing a problem behind the scenes right now. I'm just
Peppa?
watching.
You know,
We should have had a live pepper
Sinead
cam.
O'Connor, who
She
once
doesn't normally do this.
was a famous
I swear.
Irish
Yeah.
singer who said, "Keep your rosaries out of my ovaries," and now her son also tragically died last
Who's
month.
this?
Sinead O'Connor.
Okay.
Sinead.
I just want
I
to
bet
say,
these references are hitting harder with the older demographics, but I just can't relate.
I think it's confirmed that Bob Saget loves hookers.
What? Peter? Did you just write that article yourself?
What did he do?
No. Steve Bannon told me that actually. I spoke
Oh
to
yeah,
him
as you
personally.
were moonlighting at Breitbart.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was writing articles in the background.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Next topic. This one came up actually when you guys walked in with your little pet carrier and the kitten. But
Peppa's
I
getting
wanted.
in the
And this, I feel like this
laundry.
is controversial right now because a lot of people are like, COVID flying is already kind of crazy, and now people I feel like emotional support animals that line is being stretched a little bit. At least I've heard people complain about it a bit. What is your? I guess basically what is your opinion of animals on planes and should they
Depends. Are we
not be
talking
allowed?
like snakes on a plane?
Well, they probably smell better.
Where do we
than
draw the
some-
line here?
Some of the people on the plane,
Right. I
and
guess
they're probably better looking than some people on the plane.
And it depends on what animal and how well it's trained and the owner and what they're doing with it, obviously. But there was
Well-
this video that went viral, which apparently was faked. Now, you might have seen this. Oh, this woman
Yeah, I
with
saw
a cat
that.
wasn't even a real cat.
No, it was a
She
fake cat. Yeah.
trying to pretend it was a cat. And that was like the biggest thing. She was, I mean, good job on their part because that made her look crazy. What?
I swear I saw a bird. I swear I saw a bird on a plane on Twitter.
You saw a bird on a
Like
plane?
a parrot.
I feel like anyone can claim anything as an emotional support animal. I think that's kind of why
So,
you could see that happen.
like,
you don't
I
get
don't know,
to
like,
gatekeep
it's-
emotional support
but
animals.
it
right?
is
But
to-
if you're bringing a bird on a plane, that's potentially a harm to other people.
No, well, it's okay. Well, okay. Any human could be of harm to someone else. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but we have more control over humans potentially.
Do
and you could
you?
kick them off the plane. Like, I guess, I don't know.
You could kick the dog off the plane
A
too.
good argument that people did bring up though was like, what if people on the plane are like allergic to dogs?
That's
or
what
cats?
That's what I was gonna say. Was that's kind of a gray area, but I do think that typically, like, this might be a little bit of a blanket statement, but I feel like a lot of dogs that are service animals are hypoallergenic typically. Like, golden doodles are usually
Okay,
some sort of
that might be a good baseline to
don't
go
know.
off of, but I don't know. Like I see a lot of people using like labs and stuff. They're
Yeah,
not, are they?
they shed. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough spot to be in,
Yeah, and then
especially in an enclosed space for an extended
it's
period
like
of time.
animals, babies. Babies, obviously, it's like tough because you got to bring the baby, right? You're not leaving the baby at home. You're not putting the baby under the plane.
No.
I mean, he was like, I mean, I could try it. Here's like, if it just gets it to stop
Put
screaming.
him with the
then-
checked baggage.
Put him in cargo. It's fine.
Yeah, for
Darren looks like
dogs
someone that could be
with
traveling with a kitten on a plane.
smushed
So.
faces, I think it's wrong for them. It's not
Because they have
good.
emphysema.
If you have like French bulldogs and pugs, like aren't really
I
supposed to be
got-
on
I
planes
got
because
an
they can
idea.
die, but
Uncle might have a brain
don't
blast.
know.
We have to get on this before he forgets it.
Brain blast.
You know how people don't want to wear masks on planes?
Yeah.
Why don't we do the reversal? The pets come up and the people go down.
Put the people under the
In the
plane. The
cargo
pets just
In
in the
cargo.
seats.
Why not? They don't need a mask. They can do whatever they want. They can swear. They can talk about politics. They
Yeah,
can
doesn't it
say-
get cold in the plane? I forget the like physics of
It
that
does.
thing.
It does get very cold. You'll freeze to death.
All the people that don't want to wear masks, we put them under the plane with all their baggage.
Yep.
And we actually pack them into their bag.
Yes, even better, even better.
Body bag.
All right.
Sorry, that's
So that
a
was
little
fun. My next conversation.
Portist.
This
I'm just ad-libbing.
this gets more into the.
Migos.
John's only here to just interrupt me, I think.
That's false.
Okay.
Okay.
So my next conversation, it's just a news thing that happened. A volcano erupted. Some of you might know about this.
Oh.
In Tonga.
Tonga.
I don't know how to say it.
T-O-N-G-A.
I always want to say like
It
Tonga.
was the most
I don't know if that's right.
powerful thing on earth ever.
Yeah,
Bigger
yeah.
than
Well,
the
it erupted.
Most atomic bombs like in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
See, he pays attention to the news way more than I'd expect him to. Because my first point here was
Well,
that.
you guys hooked me on YouTube. It's your fault. You
Yeah,
poisoned
you
my
should see him.
brain.
Everyone
No,
should
you're
see you on your
learning.
You
phone
did that to
nowadays.
yourself.
He's like a teenage girl on his phone nowadays. He's literally in his phone 24/7.
Yes.
We're walking in the store and he's just like staring at his phone, walking down the aisle. We have it on some of our YouTube videos where we're trying to record in a store, and he's just like this, and I can't get a word out of him because he's just like looking at something on his phone. But anyway,
I think my favorite
Created a
thing that
monster.
I've noticed relative to Uncle on his phone is when he'll like offer to take Fawn for a walk. And then I'll like
You're gonna
watch.
really
I know where
tell
this is
this
going.
story?
I'll like watch out the window
Oh, gosh.
because I've noticed Uncle being like helicoptered in the middle of the road by Fawn because like there's another dog and Fawn's barking at the dog, and Uncle has no control over her
yeah,
whatsoever.
it's like air traffic control in front of our house. We have to wait until all the other dogs have passed before we can walk Fawn because she starts ripping into him. But
No matter
right.
what size, German
No, but-
Shepherd size.
But he'll like
Chihuahua
walk
size.
Fawn across the street to the corner, and he'll be on the sidewalk, and then he like has his phone out, and he's just like looking at his phone while Fawn's like sniffing around, and I'm like, dude, it was like,
he's out there for 10 minutes and
yeah,
he's still across the
literally,
street.
it's like, yeah, and I'm like, Uncle, what's taking so long? And he's like, oh well, Fawn, wanted to sniff everything, and she took like 7.
Well, in all honesty, I've cut
in all
back on
reality,
that a
he's just
lot.
standing there looking at his phone
I've
for
cut
the
back
whole
like
duration.
80% doing that.
You think 80%?
Yeah.
It feels like that number you just pulled right out of your ass.
I would love to see his usage, his screen time.
Yeah, I look at my phone 80% less.
Yeah, I
on
don't want to
walks
get
with
into that.
Fawn.
I don't want to get in that Pandora's box of his cell phone right now.
Mm.
But
No.
this volcano erupted with the force of more than 600 Hiroshima bombs, which is Uncle Tony did reference that. So he pulled that out of a news article somewhere.
YouTube.
600 of the bombs that were dropped on Japan during World War II. And that's crazy, obviously. It was in the middle of, an island nation that is relatively far away from everyone else. But it could be heard in New
They said
Zealand
there
and
was no
Alaska,
cell phone,
and it
all the
sent
cables
tidal waves
underwater
across the globe.
broke.
People, I think it wasn't
They
relatively...
found 3 dead so far,
Right.
but they think there'll be
How
a
does
lot
he
more.
know this? I have notes on this stuff, and he's just
Informed
recalling
king.
it. Yes, right. They
When it's
3
tragic
people died. I
stuff
believe.
like murders and suicides, I love the gory stuff.
Ooh.
Oh, we're walking into
Uncle
something
just
that I
watches
wasn't
a lot
aware
of
Ooh.
extra.
Uncharted territory.
And
Yeah,
we're talking about the earthquake on extra.
so that was crazy.
Extra.
Apparently,
We should have a news podcast.
yeah.
Oh
because
my
Uncle Tony
God.
does news. That's basically what this is. anyway.
Imagine.
That'd be
Oh,
amazing.
he just
Guess
announces
who's
the
running
news.
in 2024?
Oh,
Uncle
Rhymes
Tony.
with bump and stump.
It rhymes with bump.
and
two words that I
clump.
think are very fitting to rhyme with him.
stop.
But anyway,
Stop. We're not doing
Okay,
that.
sorry.
I have a current event to talk
Okay.
okay,
What
Louise.
is it?
The Wordle thing.
Oh, you can talk about
Oh,
this.
dude.
That's like
Get into it.
Well, it's kind of like a sensation right now.
Yeah,
like
okay,
everybody.
talk about
Have
it.
you done it?
I haven't. Do you? Do y'all Wordle?
We just started.
Oh, word.
At the advice of Karen. So it's like this new game that Kate, I mean, I'm sure it's been out for a while, but now it's like wicked popular where you have to guess what this 5-letter word is, and there's one new word every day. And as you type it in, as you make your guesses, like your first guess is just like any 5-letter word, and it'll tell you what letters you got correct and which letters you didn't use.
Is it like an app?
No, it's like you literally just Google, like type in your search bar in Safari, like Wordle,
And it's like
it'll
a.
and it's like the
So
first
the best
thing
way
that
to
comes
describe
up.
it is if you guess a 5-letter word, and if one of the letters is in the right spot on the actual word, it'll be green. And if another letter is in the word but it's not in the right spot, it'll be yellow. So you know that there's one in the right spot and there's the letters in the word, but it's just not in the right spot.
That sounds time
So
consuming.
if you
But
No,
guess-
you only
Oh,
get. So
man.
the thing is that you only get 6 guesses, and
Okay.
So no, but it's actually.
So when you're building the next word, you're like, all right, I'll put I in a different spot because it's yellow and I'm trying to find the right,
Right.
spot. And then I know E is green already, so I just put it back down on the same spot.
and then you just fill in as you go.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't
Today-
actively like populate the word if you get a letter right. Like it doesn't leave the letter up there.
You have to re-add it.
No,
but-
no.
Oh,
So
okay.
it keeps your. It's basically a 5x6 box,
Mm-hmm.
like grid, for like different letters. So you get one row is every guess, and
it just drops down.
it just drops down.
I
for
might
you,
add like
but-
a screenshot of this or something.
Yeah,
post,
but you also like when you have your keyboard open, it grays out, like blacks out letters that are wrong that you used.
Oh.
and
Yeah, so it gets rid of the letters. that you
Yeah,
want
and it
to-
makes
That's
your
cool.
keyboard green if it's the right letter and yellow if it's the right letter in the wrong spot. So it's
Technology,
easy
man.
so it's really easy to like look at and understand after your first one
Yeah,
or
it
two.
sounds
How
a
many
little
have you gotten?
complicated explaining it. We've done 2 of them. We got both of them.
We did them together though,
Yeah.
but they're all it is but it's
Yeah, the first one was hard. We kind of crushed this. Well, you guessed this morning's one, but
I
What
guessed the
was-
one
so-
last night too.
yeah, but
Oh,
this one was
yeah.
like-
Don't tell me the word because I'm gonna.
But there's
this
like
was
a
like
after
time
this, I'm
limit.
gonna guess it.
It was like we were on the 3rd row and we
Oh.
had it ready.
So do you just keep guessing until you get it?
No, if you don't.
No,
it'll
you
gi-
only get 6
I think it
guesses.
gives it to
Oh,
you or
word.
something.
Okay, so there's no time limit, but you do have like
No.
a limit on the amount of guesses. you can-
Right.
Correct.
And but the thing is that like your first guess, like, you know, you're not going to guess the right word on the first
Right.
guess. You know what I mean? It's just I mean, you could, right? But it's just like you're just trying to figure out what the type of word is. You know what I mean?
Now, is there any
Mm.
sort of like, incentive? It's just like inherently like
Satisfaction.
people are just doing it for its own sake. See that that's cool. Because
Yeah.
usually there's like a monetary incentive.
No,
to these
it's
things.
it's like they post like I've seen a lot of like Facebook posts of people who will fill in like grids
Mhm.
of like the emoji, like the block emojis that show them like how many guesses it took them.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like it's kind of like people like my mom does it every day. My aunt, I think, does it. Like there's a bunch of people who are doing
You
it
can
every
make that
day.
a new segment.
But they only give you one word a day.
So Wordle, it's called, right?
Wordle.
We'll just screen record
So check it out. It's
Uncle
fun.
doing Wordle every day.
Yeah. A TikTok of Uncle doing Wordle. That actually might be hilarious if he's like recorded the screen and then like recorded him doing it. I might be into that. Anyway, my next question to all of you is: if you could speak any language, what would it be and why would you want to speak it? Oh God, Uncle's a fat yawning right now.
It would have to be a romance
Mandarin.
language.
Mandarin.
Romance language, like French.
Yeah, but you speak a
Italian,
romance language already.
Spanish, Portuguese.
Okay, Darian, why do you say Mandarin?
Well,
Portuguese.
okay. So I'm stuck between Spanish and Mandarin. I would only want to speak Mandarin so I can eavesdrop on my boss and her husband because they speak Mandarin and only that to each other. But I feel like speaking Spanish like fluently would be way more useful.
I think I'll just go next because why not? I would also want to speak Mandarin mainly so I could order my food in Chinese. 'Cause I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or like order in Mandarin.
Well, you ever
Yeah,
see?
that's it.
I guess my next question is: you guys. We'll get back to obviously you guys in the front row, but you ever see the videos of this guy? I guess a lot of people do it that speak like languages you would never expect
Yeah.
them to speak.
Yeah.
So like, there's got some like random white dudes that just like know like
Yeah.
some African language.
I've seen all of them.
and they'll just go into like a flea market and like Kenya or something. That's
Yeah,
not
and
a good
speak-
example because I feel like Kenya,
Speak
but
like Tagalog or like
yeah,
some.
you're gonna show my lack of culture here right now. But going into like areas that you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like going to Chinatown and speaking Mandarin to someone. They're
Right.
like, "What the hell? Why do you know this?"
Yeah,
You know.
Watches those videos all the time.
yeah. I love those videos. I think they're cool.
Seen them all.
John, do you have a thought on this?
Yeah, I mean, I took Spanish in school for like, I would say probably upwards of 15 years.
I knew it was more than 10.
But I'm not fluent, I wouldn't say. Like, I'm proficient in Spanish, and I studied abroad in Chile and like practiced it there. But yeah, I would like to like truly be fluent in Spanish so I could, communicate with more people, maybe, travel to some places and be able to kind of fend for myself. I've also talked for a while about like, okay, maybe Spanish will ultimately be kind of like my bridge to Portuguese because we're Portuguese and I wanted to be able to speak it and kind of have that tie to my heritage.
Yeah. Circa 1885.
But yeah, I
I
like
shouldn't have said that word.
Oh, that's right. You weren't
hardly
using
know
that
any.
C word. Uncle, this is a little fun
That's
thing.
Uncle's
Uncle hasn't
favorite
been using
C word.
circa in his everyday life lately. He's for some
I
reason
just go
decided.
back like 40, 50 years ago. I remember my first day in kindergarten, 1969.
I learned the word
The teacher
circa.
said, "There's the bathroom." I said, "Yes." And what do you want me to do about it? I never went by myself to the bathroom.
Uncle's like, I'm not toilet trained.
Now,
What?
Excuse me.
What is-
September starts school. I was 4 yet still.
what does that have to do with circa?
Because he was trying to go back to that period of time without saying circa, I think.
Oh, okay. About 40 to 60, 70, 80 years
speaking
ago.
of circa, reminds me of a similar word, circus. Uncle, if you were at the circus, what would your preferred snack be?
Peanuts, because they said I had big ears like Dumbo when I was a kid in school. And if they didn't think I
Oh
had
my
big
God,
ears,
we
they
can't
would
go back
stretch
into
them
this
bigger
again.
to make me have
Circus what?
peanuts.
Circus.
Peanuts.
Oh my God.
This
is,
is my
old
thumb.
content.
A long tongue.
Circus-sized.
John, you got to go.
Jenna, where are
You
we
gotta
at?
go.
I think that was actually a Claire Harrison joke. A Clarison joke.
Shout out Claire.
Shout out Clarison.
Shout out Claire.
That she made when we were at the apartment.
Give me a quick second here.
Circus-sized peanuts.
Did you say peanuts? I thought you just.
No, I said circus-sized
Oh,
peanuts.
Yeah,
I didn't
circus
say you
size.
said- Jeremy, you didn't mention the language you want to learn.
Yeah, I
or
can get
Jenna.
into it.
We
Well,
already know.
So, well, the way I look at this is interesting because I already know some Spanish, and I spent 3.5 months in a Spanish-speaking country, Argentina. But so I wouldn't really consider that being a language I want to know because I kind of already know it. Like I'm fine with the amount of Spanish I know right now, so I wouldn't choose Spanish.
Well, I'm not, frankly.
I know how helpful it is, but like I know enough to get by if I need it. So I would say like I like the idea of Mandarin too, because obviously China, biggest country in the world, most populated country at least, and I think it would just be useful because you could go there and you could experience a whole country without having to like have an interpreter or anything. So that'd be fun. I am currently trying to learn Japanese, which is fun and I enjoy. And I've been doing it for like most of this year. Yeah, itadakimasu, which is let's eat. But so yeah, that's kind of fun. And I never like tried to learn a language that had a different alphabet from English. So that was kind of my reasoning for doing it. I also just like I'm super interested in like Japanese culture, and I grew up playing Pokemon, so it just kind of fits for me. But anyway, yeah. So I do, and I do recommend it.
You really want to go?
Yes, if I could go anywhere right now, it would probably be Japan. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. Because at one day, we will eventually get there, and I will be able to speak a little bit. So yeah, that's fun, and I do recommend anyone that has not tried to learn a language that has a different alphabet do it because it's actually not as. I feel like this stigma about it because it's like, oh my god, like these symbols, I don't understand anything. It's actually not that bad once you get into it. So I do. It's not easy, and I haven't tried to write Japanese, but it's fun.
You should
You
tell
know-
the viewers what Jenna got you for Christmas.
Oh yeah, Jenna got me a couple of posters of like the Japanese alphabet, which are really nice. Or their alphabet, their characters. There's 2 different ones that she got me, so that's pretty cool.
You should try to recreate it.
I have, Darian was learning Mandarin for about a week. So she's
Were
getting
you a
there.
Duolingo baby?
Oh, I was.
Yeah, that's how I've been learning. Shout out
That didn't work
Duolingo.
out.
Wait, question. Seeing as you mentioned Duolingo,
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. I love Dua Lipa. Not talking
Dua
about her either. But I saw something circulating on like Twitter at one point about who you were going to take in a fight. The Duolingo owl, who I think his name is just like Duo, right?
Yeah.
Or what's his toes from Animal Crossing?
Darius
Oh my
was
God!
like
Someone
super
help me out here, Mr. Tom Nook. Yeah. Tom Nook or Duo? Like, who are you
I'm
taking
beating the shit out of Duo.
in just like a?
Respectfully.
Oh, you're beating the shit out of Duo?
Yeah.
I thought
As
we were
Tom
placing.
Nook.
I see the way he knocks at my door every morning.
Are we playing? What does
Your
that
lesson.
mean?
Darian.
This is like a.
Forgot about your lesson.
And he knocks about
You
on my
stupid,
proverbial
lazy
door.
Piece of
It takes 5 minutes. Please.
and I'm just like, exit.
Dude, so they have like
You're gonna lose your
TikTok.
1 day streak now if you don't play. Seriously, it's literally 5 minutes.
You're really that much
Dude.
of a lazy piece
You've
of
been-
garbage.
Your screen time since you've been on TikTok for 6.5 hours. It literally takes 5 minutes.
You can spare 5 minutes for Duo. But no, have you guys seen like their TikTok with the Duolingo owl?
Oh yeah.
I've seen
Dude,
them
that
comment on stuff.
Is nightmare fuel.
What do you mean?
Let me tell you. No, I mean just imagine like a full life-size like
Buff owl.
Duo like breaking down your door.
I've
and
never
being
seen
like,
the TikToks from them.
Get your ass up and do your 5 minutes of Duolingo
Oh my
today.
gosh, wait, you know the Kool-Aid man when he like breaks the door?
Oh my
Like that-
God.
it's like a whistle.
Oh, yeah.
It's a meme. It's like that's the Duo owl at like 6 a.m. in your notification.
Literally, dude.
I experienced that more than anyone because I have like a 300-something day streak, which sounds crazy, but I actually have skipped a few days, so it's like kind of fake. But they have
I
like
need a screenshot.
they have these. I can.
My friend once said if he was available, he would have married him. The guy from the Cowboys in the 80s.
Troy Aikman?
Aikman, yes.
Did you say Clint Eastwood?
Because he's a super fan of
Clint Eastwood
the
actually
Dallas Cowboys.
played for the Cowboys in the 80s, fun fact.
Oh, I thought you were talking about real cowboys and like westerns.
Oh, Yellowstone?
Okay, so hey, well,
Kevin
hold it.
Costner?
Hey.
America's Cowboy?
Okay.
Heath
so
Ledger.
why don't we just do that then? I'll skip ahead a little bit and we'll back.
Rip Heath.
Everybody's languages.
Okay, right. Uncle said something about another Romance language, which feels weird to me because you already speak one of them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead
gonna
though.
speak
What
Romanian.
is your thought on it?
Who, me?
Yeah, you, Uncle.
It's
Star of our
just-
show, our talent.
It's just I'm Portuguese. That's one of the Romance languages, but I don't speak fluent to sound like I'm romantic. I speak slang Portuguese 90%
Yeah,
of the
but
time.
you speak the language for all intents and purposes.
I understand if it's romantic. It's the way the tongue moves.
It's getting
A
weird.
lot
That's
of tongue.
romance, baby.
So
It's all about the way the tongue
if
moves.
you could learn another language, what would that language be?
Like you guys said, Asian. I always want to go to Asia.
That's not a language.
I'm sorry. I meant like
Indian.
Japanese or Korean.
Psych.
Actually, Jeremy, there's a Korean mass over here.
Okay, thank you.
I know
if I need
Korean
a little
is
extra
not
bump of
Japanese,
culture, I'll
but
do that.
It's
But
close.
yeah,
Jeremy's gonna stop in.
I have. I did start very basic lessons in Korean on Duolingo
your
as well, but
whole
I really just
stomach
need to
is
like
out right
focus on one language at a time.
Yeah.
Because if you do too
I've
many, it's
tried
just
Giving the viewers what they
Mandarin,
want.
Portuguese, Spanish, and
we're not even gonna get into how you can
Too
learn like
much.
Klingon on there too, by the way, and High Valerian if you've watched Game of Thrones.
but you can only learn Brazilian Portuguese and
Right,
not regular
that's why.
That's
Portuguese.
so annoying because
Yeah.
Yeah, Duolingo, we're
I-
coming for you. Forget
No, because-
forget that sponsorship. We're coming at your neck now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I really was upset because like obviously you guys
JK, you can still sponsor us, but
don't speak Brazilian Portuguese, but like I was trying to learn Portuguese, and even as because my boss also speaks Portuguese, so I was telling him different things that I was learning, and he's like, like you really should say it like this.
Yeah,
and
it's
like
different.
yeah, and it's like I don't want to learn Brazilian Portuguese.
The pronunciation is different because I had a
Yeah.
Brazilian Portuguese teacher, and he was teaching Brazilian Portuguese.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough.
And
it's like, you're
that-
teaching a
yeah.
different language.
It's
at
like
that
you're in
point.
East Providence,
Yeah.
buddy. You should be
But
teaching
If
mainland.
I could,
Or at least there should be a discussion about that before he just goes ahead and does it.
so I'm caught between three things here
Yeah.
for languages. So one, I would love to learn American Sign Language.
Oh, Jenna coming with the progressive view. I like that.
No, genuinely, like would love to, because
Level ASL.
it's a great way to communicate, especially with like kids.
Yeah.
I
Respect.
also would like to learn if I could learn French, but it's so hard.
Oui.
Yeah, I would love to learn it, but I
The
know I would
utility
just
of French
sound
is
like,
just not there for me.
no, it's just that would just be because I just like how it sounds. But I would and this, I don't really have a utility language that I'd want to learn, like, I guess Spanish, but I feel the same as you. I'm like, okay with how much I know.
Yeah. Well, I do
But-
think there are a lot of people, a lot of
Like,
countries.
I talk to, like, all the cooks at work, like,
Yeah.
in broken Spanish.
Right.
Too many cooks.
I do think
But
there
I
are
would
a lot
like
of
to learn a Russian
European-
language, or like
A Russian
Ukrainian, like Russian or
Oh, like
Ukrainian
an
or
like
Polish. I would
Asian.
love to learn Polish, like
Yeah.
fully
I
through.
wanna learn
Eastern
Asian.
European languages.
Yeah, but preferably Polish.
Behind the Iron Curtain sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought
Preferably
in the European
Polish.
Union they all spoke the same language.
I think in Europe there's more countries that speak like French or understand French than we give them credit for, but at the same time it's still like you're limited to Europe, which is,
I took
big, but-
like a 2-week intensive course on Polish, and it was so hard. It was
German
so
would be
hard.
cool too.
yeah, German would also
Yeah.
be
My
My
sister
cool,
used to speak a little bit of German.
but the utility
Dude,
there is
okay, yeah,
still
that's
slightly
like
limited.
a 1A for me in terms of languages I would like to.
Well,
be
fun
able
fact
Yeah.
about myself, I took a semester of German in college, and I can tell you very little about the language.
sounds
but-
scary.
Mein Speck is a Deutsch.
I like it.
Yes.
Deutschland. Wunderbar.
John went to Germany,
Ah,
but
das ist gut.
I have not been to Europe at all.
Germany was freaking dope, by the way. If you have an opportunity to get out there, get after it.
Yeah.
Just go. Go where, you know.
The BMW museum, so much.
Dude, I want to go to the freaking Volkswagen
Oh yeah.
museum in Wolfsburg.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm a real for German vehicles, so I would love
John's a
to
big
go
car
to
guy
like
too,
all
so.
the car museums in Germany.
Ew.
So anyway,
Freaking dope.
next conversation was kind of already, we kind of spiraled into it a second ago when I pulled us out so we could finish this. Is TV shows right now. What are people watching? What is the most binge?
Ozark.
Right, Ozark the final season 4 just came out. Or the first
Chicago
half.
Med.
Part 1.
Go Doctors,
So
go
good.
Doctors.
Wait, what are you watching, Uncle?
Chicago Med.
You're into the Chicago.
It's so fake though compared to the real stuff that I see daily.
You don't get on a net because you don't have access to really any of the streaming services. We should get you a Fire. Well, we need to get you Wi-Fi in here first, but we should get you some. No, there's not. We have to figure that out. Get you a Fire Stick. Get you onto some shows, and if the people have recommendations for Uncle to watch, please leave them in the comment section. Yeah, that's the point, to get intense, because I'm speaking
Babe,
to
you
the
look
audience.
so hot right there. You're like very intense.
So, Ozark's one of them.
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Even
That's
though
on
it's kinda
Netflix
bad,
too,
but
right?
it's really good,
It's
but
also-
also cringy.
It's on Netflix.
It is.
Okay, I've never watched Jenna.
I have 2.
Okay.
Good.
Yellowstone.
We just binged the hell out of that show.
I
Yeah,
wanna
we
watch
watched the
that.
whole damn thing in like a week because Jeremy got COVID, and I thought I had it, but I just quarantined with him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we watched like literally 35 episodes, and no, I'm not kidding you, because we watched. There's 4 seasons, and there's 10 episodes in every season,
Yeah,
and
that's
every
actually pretty
episode's
accurate.
like an hour long. We watched 35 like episodes during
35 hours of.
if not more, because there were episodes that were like an hour and a half long,
Wow.
and we
Yeah.
watched it all in a week, like in like probably 4 days, 5 days.
Oh my god.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like an all day sort of thing, but it was like one of those things where it's like afternoon to like bedtime.
You know-
Yeah,
sort of thing.
like probably from like 3 or 4 o'clock until like 1 o'clock in the morning. We were watching
Yeah.
it, like
Yeah,
maybe a break in
alright.
between.
Yeah.
But my second one was How I Met Your Father, because I actually
Good
so
point.
it's a spin-off of How I Met Your Mother starring Hilary Duff. It's on Hulu, not sponsored,
Hillary Duff.
unless
Yeah, but let us know.
right, like keep the option
Hulu
open.
has live sports.
But I actually really enjoy. I
You can
didn't
read
think
the
I
ad.
would like it.
Hulu
I
has
really
lots of-
didn't. I thought it would be like a new like spin-off of some show that was good. But I actually really like it. It is definitely geared more towards girls, because obviously How I Met Your Mother was about a guy. This one is mainly about a girl, Hilary Duff,
Hashtag DILFs.
who I love.
Sorry.
But I
What's
honestly,
wrong
I was
with you?
laughing out loud. I really thought it was funny, and it's like very like modern. So I think a lot of people my age like are like can appreciate the references in it, because they are really funny. But it's not like over the top, like in your face, like we're with it, we're hip. Like
Would you say it's like more for the
Woke.
older viewer? Is that I still have yet to watch the new iCarly, but I feel like that's kind of like how it would be. It's like the people who watched iCarly are no longer kids, so let's not make a show for them that's about.
I watched the new iCarly. I watched like 1 episode, I think. I wasn't overly impressed.
But it is more geared towards adults, right? Is that
Yeah, like they drink beer.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, like,
that's
right, it's not
but
on-
and they say like what the hell, I think. Like I don't
What
know.
Oh my god.
What?
What does it air on? What is it on?
Hulu.
Is it?
No, I
Peacock.
think it's on Paramount.
Okay.
That
But
sounds right.
It's not like
actually.
on a kids show channel.
No,
Yeah, so it's like
it's
you
it's
couldn't
being
have beer on a
streamed. I
kids'
think
channel.
it's like rated like TV 14. I don't.
Oh, look who it is. Sorry. We have a call from Grandma.
Oh my goodness.
Should we dial it up?
Oh, I heard Peter got added to the call list.
I
recently.
did. I
That's when you
did.
know you're officially part of the family.
Not been added.
When you're added to Darian's grandmother, Uncle Tony's sister's
Jenna's
call
made
list.
it what, like 6 years without being added to Ani's call list?
It's all right. She just calls me. I'm usually with Jenna anyway, and then she can talk to both of us.
I got a call, and
He has grandma issues, so.
yeah,
tough.
I do have grandma issues, but
Man just needs to hug some bazongas.
yeah, oh, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, I got a call from her, and it was like, "Are you with Darian?" And I'm like, "No." She's like, "Oh, I meant to tell you." I'm like, "Oh, here
I
we
was
go."
going to say to you.
Hey,
I meant to say to you.
Hey, it's at 12:30 on a Tuesday, and I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah, hey, I'm in the McDonald's parking lot right now on my break. Please.
Please, this is my only alone time right now.
She's just trying to cook for you.
This time is sacred.
She wants to make you some peas
she
and
brings in
linguiça.
meals.
Some favish.
All right. So, anyone else have a show before we change this conversation around a little
Not
bit?
your favish.
What
Okay.
was that?
So
John?
Ozark,
Favish?
Yellowstone. Get into
Are you
it.
sleeping?
No, just got my head.
Jenna and I did watch Parasite last night. Jenna had never seen it before.
Oh, you guys did end up watching
Wait,
it.
what is
Speaking
what
of
is
Korean
that?
film,
I've heard of it.
It's a Korean movie
Uh-huh.
based. So the general premise is, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, though it came out in 2019. So if you haven't watched it, what are you doing?
Is it a
You
series?
haven't been watching
or
because you
a
haven't. You
movie?
refuse to. It's not that you
Okay,
don't know
there
about
is
it.
like a
Film?
statute
Oh.
of limitations around spoiling
Right.
things.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to give the spoilers. I'll just tell you the general premise. It's this family of four that's relatively impoverished family, and then there's this wealthy family, and the son of the impoverished family gets this job working as a tutor for this wealthy family, and he basically makes jobs for all of his family members within this rich family's like life. So there's an opening for like an art teacher for the younger son, and he's like, "Oh, I know this person," pretends he doesn't really know him that well, but it's actually his sister that ends up getting hired for the position.
Oh,
And now
they're
his
the
sister,
parasite.
right, the brother and the
that
sister then
sounds
working
good.
there, and then all of a sudden they need a driver, right? Well, they actually started to get into like creating the job. I'm not with that. I'm getting into spoiler territory
Yeah.
now,
Oh, I
Okay,
wanna
but
watch it.
anyway, the point is that eventually this whole family starts to work for this other family. They're making a shit ton of money because I think there's like a lot of humor in it that I think can
but it does get lost in translation.
yeah, it can get lost in translation, like in the subtitles,
Because it's Korean.
which is fine. But I still thought it was pretty funny, and it's so well made. Like the cinematography is insane. Like it's such a beautiful like setting. But and I would like to make it somewhat clear that most of the reason that I wasn't interested in Parasite initially was because I thought it was a horror movie or some sort of movie that was like
You think of the grunge.
mentally
Grudge?
you hear Parasite and you just automatically think
Yeah,
of like
it sounds-
something like The Grudge
Bugs.
or like The Human Centipede, like you know what I mean, like it's just what you
Well,
think.
I don't know about that.
Whoa.
That's a whole different
That's a
level.
great movie.
Good God.
That's one of
We
my
should-
favorites.
Good God.
We should film an episode where we're watching that.
But anyway,
Uncle's
that's
reaction.
the
Uncle Tony?
main reason I was far away
Yeah,
from
Uncle
it.
reacts to Human
Have
Centipede.
you seen Parasite?
I do think a Tony's Reacts would be a really great segment for us, like a little TikTok thing, you know,
Yes.
a TikTok moment. For
Little
sure.
bing bong.
Tony reacts.
Yeah. But
Fuck
yeah,
your
so,
life.
so that was really good. We'll have to get Uncle to watch Parasite, get you into some Korean film,
Maybe
but
I
you'd
can
have to
watch
read all the
an episode
subtitles.
with you guys.
And Korean film in general
It's a movie.
doesn't get enough respect because there are some
Okay,
really good
but
movies out there as
An
well.
important
but
thing to
other
note
than
about Parasite is if you haven't seen it, it is frickin' bananas. It is
Yeah.
cray
What I've
cray.
noticed about a lot of the Korean movies that I've watched is that they're very intense and like gore, and I mean, in general, the like plot lines are like really good. In a lot of these movies,
Yes.
why they get so like Parasite was an international success, and that's why a lot of people
But
watched it in the States.
I heard Korean movies, like you said, that have subtitles. They're very popular in the Asian community, whether or not you're Japanese.
Well, even I've watched
Korean,
shows.
Filipino.
I've talked about this before in the past. It's called Money Heist. It's something else, but it's in Spanish, right? It's based in Spain, and I watched that
La
for a
Casa
while.
de Papel.
And because you get used to the subtitles, it's not that big of a deal. And
That's a dope show. I
I
gotta
watched-
get back to watching that.
yeah, what?
Elite is one of those shows.
Where's that?
I think they speak Spanish in it,
Okay.
but it's like about a private school, but
Yeah. So this episode.
it's kind of like a Euphoria, but for
Interesting.
like
Oh, Euphoria High.
Spanish,
So this basically is like
like adults.
explore the foreign film section on Netflix or wherever you watch because it's worth it a lot of the time. And like I said, I like zombie movies and stuff like that, and not like stupid zombie. Because anyone ever see World War Z?
Yes.
Stupid zombie movie.
Brad
right?
Pitt.
But like actually like well done, realistic, like The Walking Dead-esque zombie movie. Well, except obviously The Walking Dead is a TV show. But that level of it, I've watched a couple of Korean movies that are like that. They're just, I can't recommend it enough because you're missing out.
World War Z was kind of more in the vein of like I Am Legend. For those of you who've seen that,
Yeah,
kind of had the same vibe.
it had too much of a big Hollywood
But like
vibe.
zombies like sprinting at you, that's like some next level shit. Like, yeah, okay. I'm like
It had
okay
a-
with
it-
zombies when they're just like hobbling
It
around.
definitely had a high production cost, but
But as soon as they're sprinting, no.
yeah.
That's not good. These zombies are outrunning you.
Well,
no.
While we're getting into conversations on
Extraterrestrial.
on zombies, I'm so sorry.
We're approaching the hour mark.
My next conversation that we can start to we'll go do this quick is on extraterrestrial life and the James
E.T. phone
Webb telescope, space telescope that's just been launched, and how this is going to be like the successor to the Hubble telescope. I'll have some facts here.
Hubble.
I don't know if Uncle's going to beat me to the chase on any of these facts. He's falling asleep a little bit.
No, I'm fine.
It was named for NASA's administrator during the Apollo program. It took $10 billion in 30 years to develop, and it will be able to take much clearer. This is the biggest part of it, obviously. It will be able to take much clearer images of the universe in search of planets with atmospheres similar to that of Earth. What do they call it? The Goldilocks zone or something like that?
Yeah.
Where there's like
Yeah.
the conditions are perfect to
Oh, it's
allow
just
for a
right.
planet similar to Earth is the basic concept.
Do they have porridge?
So I don't think it's going to be able to start
Little bills.
I think initial images from the satellite aren't coming back until around June. Like they're still in the process of deploying it. They mostly deployed the satellite. I've done a decent amount of research on this, but apparently there's so many things that have to go right for this thing to actually deploy properly, and it's getting really close, but it's not quite there yet. But pretty awesome, and I've been seeing a lot about like I actually joined a group on Facebook. I've seen a lot of photos of our universe and stuff, and I've been really into that lately. It's gonna be crazy, man, because we're gonna get even more detailed photos.
Yeah.
Darian, do you have something to say, or you just holding the mic?
No, I'm just interested.
Just interested.
But
if a thought comes to mind,
it's
you're ready.
it's exciting, but
Mhm.
also kind of terrifying. So seeing
You might
like
say it's
photos
extra
of the universe
terrifying.
is like so creepy to me. I don't know. I like it though.
Yeah, it is weird, and if you literally just sit, you can get into this. If you just sit and look at the sky long enough, you're like, holy crap, there's
Yeah.
so much out there that we're just like so small, but
Yeah, that's like that's the thing that just I really have a hard time with.
Jenna doesn't like going down that rabbit hole.
No, it's really not my vibe.
The
because
insignificance
I
of
have-
humankind.
Yeah, no, I really like. Oh my god, no, because my head will spiral. Like it's spiraling right now. If you couldn't tell, like I really can't even think about that stuff. But like, I'm caught between like, we wouldn't have had the ability to develop this technology if we weren't meant to, versus like we're not supposed to mess with what is outside of us. Like I'm caught between those two things, and it's like kind of a hard spot to be in because I really can't read much into like things like this because it wigs me out too much.
But how many
And I
aliens?
don't know if I agree with it.
How many aliens are filming a podcast right now?
Yeah, I mean,
None.
Who the hell cares?
Yeah,
what do
exactly.
you think they look like? Like, do you think like intelligent life could have to look like what we do?
No, I feel like I don't know, different planets could
Now you're talking about aliens like from
Potentially
outer space or aliens
cause-
like myself.
Uncle Tony, we've been having this conversation for 10 minutes.
A
I
legal
was once a
aliens
legal
or-
alien. Now I'm a citizen.
Uncle's like, it's a good time to drop my alien joke right now.
Yeah, I had what was
Hope we
called
don't alienate
green
any
card, but
viewers.
now it's red, white, and blue.
What?
Thank you, Uncle, for that. What,
Uncle, your
Darian?
whole stomach is out right now.
he's showing. He's giving crop top.
Uncle, do we need to get you a larger Tony Stock shirt?
I think so. This one shrunk.
That's what happens
can
when
find
you
those
wash
on
it in
our-
hot water.
No, actually,
link in the description for that merchandise.
I'm one of those people that
Cold
use
wash,
cold water.
tumble dry low.
I didn't know
Okay.
that. I do tumble dry high.
All right, so Uncle, do you have any thoughts on extraterrestrial life? Is this something you think about?
I
a lot?
believe it exists in one form or another.
I know we've done this before. This is not the first time aliens have come up on our podcast.
Like-
Yeah.
There was a movie, like I brought it up before. I think the
E.T..
people came from inside a pod. Like they were duplicating people that were already alive. When they fall asleep, They come
Cloning?
They not something like cloning. Yeah, but they were like in these pods. It's a popular movie from the 50s. They did a remake in the 80s. Pretty interesting. Donald Sutherland played in the second cap.
The second cap.
The second.
I think another
No cap.
good movie is obviously Interstellar, but Arrival.
I've not
I
seen
forget
it.
who's in it. I'm not good with celebrity names. I don't really give a about celebrities, but it's about these like mysterious UFOs that like show up on these different parts of Earth, and I think me and you watched it. And there's this linguist who's the only person that can like decipher their language, and she goes up in the pod and like learns their language and stuff. And
Mind you, they're like beings, like air particle beings. Like they're like big balls of black dust, but they're like intelligent beings.
yeah,
Really?
and
It's crazy.
they like communicate with like symbols and stuff. If you've never seen it, it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Like worth to
Arrival?
watch. Arrival,
When
yeah.
did this come out? Was it recent?
2015 maybe.
Okay.
Maybe before that.
I'll have to add that to my list because that's interesting.
Yeah, and there's some like noteworthy actors and actresses in it. I'm not good with names.
There was
I
this.
feel like aliens could definitely be like that too.
I know.
Yeah.
Uncle?
Sorry, no.
No, you talk. I want you to talk.
Now I know the name of the movie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I
You
feel
fall
like
asleep.
I've heard of that.
The body catchers.
Yes. It was really campy, the first one
So
from the
cute, might
50s,
snatch a body later.
because, the technology wasn't there. But the 80s version was good. Campy means like just basically boring, like just fake, like
Jeremy Camps.
Night of the Living Dead. the
Jeremy's
first
pitching a
version.
tent right now.
I brought.
I'm only wondering because like
John.
because like if
John,
you
come
no,
on.
I feel
What?
no. This is one of those questions that I've been like
Trying to add
afraid
some
to ask.
Yes,
This is like
Jenna?
one of those questions that I've been like afraid. Like those questions that you're afraid to ask because you're like I should know
better
this
get out
at
the
my
Coleman
age.
girl.
Ask the question, Jenna.
No, like when the Met had their when there was like the Met Gala, the theme was camp, and I don't know if that's like the same. I don't know if that has the same meaning.
So-
Not. Am I Are you
No,
laughing
no,
at
no,
me?
No. I
Like,
also wonder.
Do you know what I
the same
mean?
No,
thing,
because
yeah.
I think I've heard about camp like in the context of like the drag community, and that's like I still don't really know what it means, but it's like I don't know, but yeah, that was like a big thing. That was like the theme of the Met Gala. You're saying, right? Yeah. So maybe one of our viewers has some insight into this. We'll have to go back to the drawing board and do a little research, and maybe next step we'll have some more insight. Yeah.
All right, let's bust through these last couple topics
Bust it.
before we get out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Hi, Pepper. We didn't forget you.
Yeah, the
She
Pepper's
likes the
now
couch where
chilling. on
Logan sits down.
Yeah, she loves the couch.
100% loaf.
So this one is definitely tabloidy. This is Machine Gun Kelly, again, coming on the podcast for a second time. Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox got engaged recently. Her ring was a big topic of conversation that I want to get into. It is...
Was it a transformer?
No, I'll explain it to you and then you can get into it. The ring is 2 stones. It's an emerald and a diamond, and they're like combined into this one band. Yeah, right. They're birthstones. I think diamond is Machine Gun Kelly's and emerald is Megan Fox's, if I have that right. Right. But they're not the same age. Just birthdays happen to be a month apart, yeah. Megan Fox is significantly older, from my
I
understanding.
was going to say, yeah.
I don't know
Isn't
how
she
much
like 50?
older. Jenna looked this up. No, she's not. She's in her 30s, but...
Yeah, close enough.
Probably has had relationships like
The ring is
50.
joined-
is the new 50.
The ring is, she has a couple kids, is joined by a magnet that comes apart to create 2 individual rings, which I think is the most interesting part about this. Well, this is actually interesting as well, and a little psychotic, but the ring is thorn shaped, and it actually is painful to remove. And this was him going off of this idea that love is pain, which I don't know how I feel about that, but
Yeah, that's so edgy.
4?
She's only 4 years.
What is his age?
Megan Fox is 35 and Machine Gun Kelly is 31.
All right, I thought he was maybe late 20s, but
Yeah.
that makes
She's
sense.
old.
But the thing is that so like it. I
Peter's
mean,
out here trying to get his beat.
I just don't like with this stuff. It's like that's clearly like just what they're into. Like that's just what their vibe is in their relationship. It's just like let them be. Like just just leave people alone. Like if like she's a bad bitch. Like if something is not right, like she will handle herself. Like she's a queen. So
She probably has like a greater net worth than he does, I would imagine.
I don't know. It's getting close.
Like
nowadays.
Pete Davidson and the Kardashians.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Kim Kardashian?
I think he's her boy toy.
A lot
he
of people
just goes
like.
with the flow.
We could get into the whole Pete dynamic.
I
but
love them together.
They do make a cute couple.
I think it's
yes.
wholesome.
Yeah, sounds like, you know.
He's like somebody that's ready to lose his virginity.
Get yourself.
to these
Thank
famous people.
Thank
He's
you,
just
Uncle.
a little boy.
Get yourself a man that makes you laugh. I think is what the moral of the
Yes,
story comes down
yes,
to.
yes. For the one of the most underrated Saturday Night Live actors. He's pretty well known now in the media.
Yeah, and he's well known. I think particularly with our generation, just as like
Yeah.
a newer person on.
Even though he's not on social media at all.
Yeah, I have not to be that guy, but like I literally have a Snapchat from Pete Davidson's first sketch on SNL because he was on Weekend Update, which
Memory.
I don't remember if it was exact like his actual first sketch, but it was definitely like either his first episode or like one of his first things. And I loved him from like the second that he was on Weekend Update. And then I got really invested in his relationship with his ex-girlfriend because he was with her for a very long time. She was from Girl Code, Carly
This was
something.
before Ariana Grande.
Remember this?
With the one with the red hair?
Yes.
Oh, she's fine.
Yes, they were together for like I want to say like 3 years before he blew up on SNL, and then once that happened they parted ways. And Pete Davidson actually had social media up until that point, and then I think around the time that he got with Ariana Grande he deleted it.
He was like, I'm worth way too much to
Then
be
she
with you.
deleted him.
Oh,
Damn.
mic drop.
Thank you, next.
Okay, so we've gotten to that a little bit. This last one's relatively depressing, but we're going to do it anyway. News came out this week that Brian Laundrie did claim responsibility for the killing of Gabby Petito. We have never talked about this on the podcast, I don't believe, the whole Gabby Petito case and everything that went down with that. But I guess a notebook was discovered near his body. His death was ruled a suicide. And this whole tragic nationwide, like every once in a while, a case of this kind comes around. I can't remember the last time something like this happened, but it's on the level of like, who's the woman
Romeo
who
and
killed her
Juliet?
daughter? What's
Casey Anthony.
Casey Anthony level case sort of thing.
Or
What's the one that happened in our neck of the woods now? I can't. The one that the whole case about the girl who helped her boyfriend commit suicide.
That's Michelle Carter.
Oh,
Michelle Carter.
Michelle. Yeah.
So, like, those
they're
are all the
actually
same level.
so Elle Fanning is actually playing, or is it Dakota? I think it's Elle Fanning who's playing Michelle Carter in some sort of movie about it, which I don't really know if I agree with.
With making a movie about it.
Yeah, but the Brian Laundrie thing is just f***ed up.
It's sad.
I just don't get it. Like I just don't understand. Like there's so many. I'm happy that Gabby's family is able to have closure in the sense that like he did ultimately claim responsibility, but at the same time there's just so many unanswered questions about what got up to that point. And even now the investigators who actually pulled over Brian and Gabby on the highway, remember when there was like body cam footage?
Yeah.
They're being investigated for handling that situation wrongfully.
Which they didn't.
I think it's tough. Yeah,
yes,
like
and that's tough. But there's
no one's
just
getting
so
like
much
really
going
in
on.
trouble there. I think someone's getting on probation or something. But it's like, yeah, if this had been anything else and if it had led to her death, obviously nothing would have been made of this. So it's hard. And as far as like police officers doing their job incorrectly, this is like very low on the scale, I feel like, for me.
Yeah.
But
I think
on
the bigger
TV, they made it like a cute couple.
Yeah, well, right. And I think the bigger issue and why this is such a stark, like, what's the word I'm looking for? This is such a striking case for a lot of people is that, like, you couldn't really understand what was going on. It didn't seem like there was anything. I mean, obviously, they were young kids, first of all. They were in their early 20s, right? And they looked happy for the most part. And obviously, they were pulled over and there's this whole issue and everything. This only came out after her death, or she went missing. Right. But, and it's also something that's, like, just very, like, idyllic. What's the word I'm looking for?
Idyllic.
Idealistic. So like the whole thing that they were doing in the first place was they had built out, or she had built out a Ford Transit van that they were traveling the country with. Something that a lot of people my age, our age, are into doing right now.
Including you and I.
Right. Jen and I have talked about this sort of thing.
We have a Pinterest board.
Yeah.
Can you say that into the mic?
We have a Pinterest board for it.
I think that they're trying to find like a scapegoat or like someone to hold accountable when like you can't blame like the two police officers that had no idea what was going on. Like I just think that they did the right thing in that situation by having them, separate for the night, and there's no real way of telling like what's
situation was de-escalated, and that's
Jenna, you're gonna.
The situation was de-escalated, and I feel like that's ultimately
That-
what their job is.
They did their job,
Yeah.
and I feel like they can't really do much more than what they did. I think they're just trying to find a scapegoat, or like just trying to find someone to hold accountable for what happened. When, in reality, Brian Laundrie was the one that you should hold accountable, but obviously he's dead.
My
so.
issue was with like the parents weren't letting them anywhere near the house. Like when he first got back, and he
That
was still,
too.
he was
That
still
too.
alive. Like that, and that more's gonna come out about this case and everything. But that's the biggest, most screwed up part about this is like now your son is, and I don't know what happened when he was there, right? But your son's dead now. Was that something that you contributed to, or he went off and did that on his own? But you obviously harbored him in the house, and you must have known something had happened. But,
At the same time, though, like, wouldn't you expect your parents to do the same thing?
right?
Like, if you
But,
just went and
Yeah,
you know
like to a fault.
murdered somebody,
It's tough, too, but, like,
what
if you
he
know
did,
he's-
like what he did was illegal, and I'm sure what his parents did was probably not in the boundaries of the law. But at the same time, like Mama Tildes is gonna
any parent,
Mama Tildes is gonna
Any
come
parent
is
would do
gonna
that.
is gonna
I-
act as clueless can be if someone is asking her about what your whereabouts are.
Sure, and I guess if you think more about it too, it's like, well, their son's dead now. Like, would you rather have him dead or in prison? I guess is
Yeah.
what this comes down to. So it's a situation regardless. But
I guess there's
Yeah.
some people
Uncle-
that
Uncle, do
you
you have
can
thoughts
live
on
with
this?
them, and then you can't live without them. So he got rid of her, and then he got rid of himself.
yeah,
That's
I
one
can
of the
imagine
I
bad ways
it
to
must
feel
look
look
like
at
bad
it.
for him. I don't know
it
what
has
the-
a lot to do with mental health and
Obviously, yeah.
domestic abuse in a relationship.
right.
So hopefully,
Yeah, but like you
If
said,
People
anything,
learn
it
from
puts
that.
light on it.
100%, Darren. But
yeah,
if it is mental health, it's just take yourself out of the equation and leave the other person
yeah.
alone.
Well,
But it
I
doesn't always
doubt
work that way.
he had
90% of the time,
any
it doesn't work
sort
that way.
of
And it's wild
perception
because
of that.
it's wild because like to put it kind of bluntly, it's like Gabby seemed, from what I was seeing in the media, was that she seemed to be the one that was maybe a little bit more
Intense.
in a bad place mentally.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me that it was ultimately her boyfriend who kind of snapped and, killed her.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if we're ever gonna know everything about obviously their
Either one
the
of them,
dynamic
yeah.
of their relationship. It sounded like it was kind of both ways. Obviously, no excuse for killing anyone,
Exactly. Yeah.
but it sounded like there was a lot going on there from both of them, and I don't know where it went wrong. Obviously, there was a notebook that was found where he admitted to killing her. I don't know if it was like a diary that he had been continuously writing in, or it was just like he wanted to get a note out about it
Yeah.
and then killed himself. I don't know.
I mean, they
Ugh.
did go cross country for a while. They were together by themselves, basically, for
Yeah.
those few weeks.
So that's tragic, and we're gonna end it on not that note. We have one more, two more things. But
all
they're
right,
very
thanks for
quick.
joining us.
Yeah, thanks. This has been episode 8. No, yeah.
Just do one more.
Oh, Peppa.
We have, well, Kelly, our overrated, underrated is tourist destinations, if you guys have any interest in that. And then we're just going to do Tony's horoscope, and then we're out of here. So, we were talking about overrated. I think the fun part of this might be an overrated tourist destination. We don't have to go through everyone, but if someone has an overrated tourist destination, now is your time to speak. Hawaii.
I heard it's expensive as
That's
all
why
hell.
it is overrated. I went there 30 years ago for like $400 for a week. Now I heard it's $5,000 for the same hotel chain.
Yep.
Outrigger Reef.
Yeah.
We had talked about like Disney before as being potentially overrated.
Overrated.
I like Disney World. Disneyland didn't do it for me. I was there when I was very young, but
I've never been to Disneyland, but
never been to
Universal
Florida.
is way better
I
than
still have to
Disney
go to
World.
Universal. I've never done
Way
that.
better.
That's on
If
my
you like
bucket
roller
list, yeah.
coasters, it's better. But for kids,
No, the one that's not associated with Disney, right? Universal.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we do have
It's
to go.
fun.
Darren's cute shoes.
huh?
What?
Darren's cute
Those are
flip-flops.
Jenna's. Oh, wait.
Hi, I'm Darian.
That's Jenna.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And those aren't flip flops. Those are moccasins.
Moccasins.
Hi,
I
Sharon.
got those were her Christmas present for me. Oh, poor
It's
Tom.
all over.
No, not my Tommy.
Yeah, do we think Tom Brady's retiring?
No,
Put your answer in the comments.
he's not
below.
retiring. There's zero
Okay.
chance.
So what's overrated and underrated?
He's just going to go to
Does
another
anyone have an
team.
underrated place
Underrated Rhode Island.
for vacation?
Yeah.
I guess that's not the worst thing to say, to be honest with you.
Newport, baby.
Yeah, like there's a lot to do in the summer in Rhode Island, and there,
Yes.
talk to any butthurt Rhode Islander,
A lot
and
of
they'll tell you,
historical
"Oh, I hate this
places.
place.
We got a
I'm gonna move to
historical
Florida."
cemetery, historical restaurants.
Yes.
New York City is the most overrated place
Amen.
in the freaking
Amen.
world. In the world.
Unless you're absolutely dumb loaded with money, there's
Yeah.
no reason you should be in New York City. That's my opinion.
Every experience that I have had in New York City has been nothing but below average, borderline just
Miserable?
miserable experiences. And granted, like the one miserable experience I'm referring to involved me having to get a visa for Poland, which was a whole mess in itself. But to have to do that in New York City was just absolutely awful.
Yeah.
It was and like in the summer, I don't see the appeal of it at all.
I think it's also important to note, and we are talking about tourist destinations, right? Like, you know, the context is important because living in New York might be very different. And there's plenty of people that are like, yeah, New York, greatest city in the world. And I'm like, sure, I'm sure it's different if you live there and have lived there for a time as opposed to going there for
As
like
an outsider?
a weekend and like
Oh my God.
trying to drive around and like do things in the way that you normally would. And it's like, no, it's just not conducive.
And I
to
think
that.
what's kind of sad about it too is that like a lot of people that aren't from the United States are like, this is like top 3 destinations that you're going to. You know,
Yeah.
New York, LA, like
New York
Boston, Las Vegas.
smells. It's so big. It's ugly. Like New York City is so ugly. There's scaffolding everywhere. As I watched in a video like the other day, scaffolding everywhere. It's kind of hard to get around. No one wants to take the subways because they're smelly and they're packed. Like
Right.
it's just not.
Like, there's
I think it's not a good.
so
place.
many better places to go in the United States than New York City, if you ask me. Obviously, it's so unique, and maybe you go there once, so you say you've been in New York, right? But other than that, man, you can go somewhere else and have way better time. But anyway.
And I feel like Boston, because I was
I'm not
able
even a huge Boston fan. I know that's kind of sacrilegious to say, but go ahead.
So like I am a huge Boston fan because like I grew up in Massachusetts. I grew up a half hour away from Boston, and for me it's always been like in my mind it's just been kind of a given that it's right there, so you don't really think of it as being that special. But when my friend Sylvia, who is from Chicago, came and visited Boston, and it was her first time ever being in Massachusetts, ever being in the Boston area, and we did the whole Freedom Trail in a day, and it's a lot, but it was so cool. It's just like there's so much history in that city, and I'm like, obviously, like I was a history major, like love it, and it's just so cool to see like where so much happened. And I think that that's something that we might take for granted, because I know that, you know, it's hard to navigate and get around, but that's just like, that's all original. That is all how Boston has always been.
It's obviously one of the oldest cities in the country, so there's that if you're a big history guy. And there's the roads are crazy, traffic's a nightmare a lot of the time, but it's not New York for sure, which is a good thing and a bad thing sometimes depending.
You can walk everywhere.
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, whatever. It's easier. Walking in New York City is also easier than driving, but yeah. Anyway, good conversation on that. I want to wrap this up with Uncle's favorite segment of the week. This is your horoscope for today, Uncle. You ready for it?
Do I have a choice?
I have it in front of me, yes.
Can I say I'm a Scorpio like my sister? I guess not.
Nope, you are a Libra, right? Because that's what I looked up for the horoscope. So your horoscope today, this is from the website. I don't even know what website it was, but it says, a discussion with an old flame will be intense today. If your mouth is moving, you can't hear what the other person wants to tell you. This is one for the whole week. It's playful time.
Like,
and old flames are back on the scene. Be patient with chaos at home. What do you make of that, Uncle?
Very, very weird.
Put it up in your mouth.
Very weird. I mean, there were people that I liked in high school, and it's my 40th anniversary.
You got a school anniversary coming up?
Yeah, 40 years in June.
Are you going somewhere?
I doubt it because of COVID.
But they would host a 40th anniversary.
But can you repeat
gonna
the
creep right up.
beginning of this thing?
A discussion with an old flame will be intense today. This is my favorite part of it. If your mouth is moving, you can't hear what the other person wants to tell you.
But many old flames, how would I know?
How many? I have so
this
many
would
old
happen?
flames.
I mean, I don't have their numbers. How will they see me unless it's on Tony's Talks?
Maybe that's how they
And
see
try to
you.
reach out.
You can't ask the questions.
Reach
It's just
out
going
and
to
touch
happen.
someone?
reach out and touch someone.
Well, I could have said reach out and grab someone, but that doesn't sound too good.
No, that sounds like not a good thing.
Well, thanks, Jeremy. That does sound pretty interesting.
Well, you got something to look forward to the week ahead. Maybe an old flame will come in back into your life and surprise you this week, right?
I need it.
That last
you
one.
gotta keep your mouth shut, apparently, too.
Yeah. Also,
My coworkers
more,
tell me
I
that
think.
too.
Mouth shut, fly up.
Uncle's a sassy boy on the work floor. It sounds like so.
John's on some today.
They're just
I just want to throw that
jealous.
out there.
Daddy.
3 times or more than they do. They're like zombies, and I'm like,
Uncle's
Godzilla.
out here busting with it. We talked about
And
how
I'm like Godzilla.
hard a worker Uncle is. He doesn't take any vacations most of the time, and he's just working these doubles back to back to back, sleeping very little. He's showing up all these young kids on the floor. It sounds like.
It's that Portuguese blood.
Yeah.
Well, my father taught me, you want something, you didn't go to college, you got to work harder for it than other people.
Oh, that's why you're here sitting on a couch talking about
got
nonsense.
that.
You're working harder for it right now.
He's got that stonemason's work ethic.
Yeah. He's got the bad knees too, I think.
How your knees do?
Bad toes.
Okay. We're not gonna get into your what do we call them?
Feet pics?
No.
No.
His corn.
His corn.
Ew.
His corns.
Oh, no.
All right.
Oh my god. All right, so this has been episode 8.
We're gonna
I'm
make
leaving.
an
Thanks
NFT
for
of Uncle's
watching.
feet.
Thanks for having Jenna, Pete, Darian,
Thank you.
Juan Austin Pedigo, and Jeremias.
Checks
the
notes.
moderator.
My nephew John. Okay.
Logan, he's not here.
And
Oh.
Simone, who
As
writes
always,
Girl
you can
Scout
find the
cookies.
podcast on YouTube,
Give me one.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, probably some other places too.
Or wherever
those-
you listen to podcasts.
Wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you like, subscribe, rate us. Ratings are huge. Help us grow the podcast.
Yes, grow.
Get
grow,
Uncle Tony
grow.
off the work
grow,
floor.
grow your boat.
Who wouldn't want to watch Uncle just sitting on the couch talking all day and night, giving the world his opinions as his
This
Go
has
on
been
full-time.
the
YouTube.
best
As his
2 years of
full-time
my
job.
life, Jeremy. This January makes 2 years we've started.
Can we make
Tony's
2020 our goal to get Uncle Tony out of that job and into the Tony's Talks?
2020 was 2
studio
years
full-time?
ago. Okay.
2022. Well, we started this in 2020, which is kind of
I
crazy
got
to think
4
about.
years left to retire, so maybe that will happen in 4 years.
Yeah, so we're gonna get you just doing crazy content. We're gonna
Yes.
up the TikTok game. I have a couple TikTok ideas that we're gonna have to discuss after the recording is
We
over.
need
but-
to do the wavy camera.
Yes, that was one of them, but
challenge.
we'll look for that. All right. Anyway, this has been episode 8. Like I said,
Thanks for
YouTube,
watching. Thanks for listening.
all your podcast players. We'll talk to you guys.
Smash that subscribe
Very
button.
soon.
Facebook too. Tony's Talks. All right. Bye.
Bye.